Hi, and welcome to the second course, Sales Excellence. This course is designed to make sure that we home in on what can actually make you an excellent salesperson. Having the understanding of what are the fundamentals of being a salesperson is one thing, but we want you to be excellent, a master of persuasion, a sensei of sales. What I'm going to be covering here are three main areas which are going to home in to make you the best salesperson that you can be. The first part being identifying the right opportunities. The second part being matching the right opportunities to your target audience. And the third part being actually delivering the perfect pitch. As you know in sales, it all comes down to actually closing down the deal, closing the sale, winning the customer over, and getting that conversion. So let's home back to the first part. What do I mean by identify the right opportunities? Now, as you know, this course is tailored for people who are setting up business, in business, or maybe you're just a salesperson working somewhere. The idea is that the opportunity that's presented for you to actually home in and target your product or service for should be something that is already out there, that's wanted, that's needed. This is going to make the process of actually selling your product or service a lot easier. So let's take it from the angle of a salesperson within an organization. Your company would have already found this opportunity for you and presented you with the product or service. You may have even been fortunate enough to be provided with a pitch that they tell you to actually sell. For these cases, that's fine. Simply go ahead with it, deliver the perfect pitch, and apply some of the fundamental aspects we spoke about in course 1. If you're a new business or you're someone who's looking to actually start selling a product or service, then my advice would be is to take a look at the market. See what opportunities are out there. If you're perhaps selling a consultancy service, like what we do at KB Consultancy, think about being online, using social media, creating a strong digital presence and a brand. These are the opportunities that are out there right now. If you consider the amount of time that each person spends on their mobile phone, by not targeting the digital world with your product or service, you could be missing out on a huge amount of opportunity that's going to help your product and sell fly off the shelf. Now, the key thing here is to understand that when you identify the opportunity, you then need to now start thinking about what type of clients will want this opportunity. And this is where you start thinking about your target audience, which is point number 2. Identifying the right opportunity is one thing. Now matching up with the right client is the next. Let's look at an example of someone who works in a car showroom. If maybe your showroom is in an area that is maybe populated with families aged maybe 25 to 35, they have 2 kids, the 2.4 children, and you're thinking about selling sports cars or coupes. You may want to reevaluate the location where you're selling this product. Are you matching the opportunity that's out there, which are 2.4 children families with 2-seater coupe cars? You want to make sure that the product that you're selling marries and easily targets the type of audience that you want to sell to. If I'm selling cars, for example, in an area where I know they're predominantly families, middle-aged, I'm going to be looking at selling saloon cars, 7-seater, MPVs. This is just going to make my sell a lot easier. Does that mean you can't sell a coupe to families? Of course not. But understanding your target audience and identifying the right opportunity to sync up with them is just going to streamline your whole sales process. This is what's going to make your sell excellent as opposed to mediocre. So the first part is you've identified the opportunity. The second part, you've now matched the right product or service to the target audience that you have in your location, your demographic, or what have you. And all of this is just simply part of doing a complete research and development of your product and service. The last part is delivering the perfect pitch. Now, ironically, when you say pitch or people think of a pitch, they think about doing what I'm doing right now, talking. The integral part of delivering a perfect pitch, and I'm smiling because I always love this part, it excites me, is actually shutting the front door. Keep quiet, listen. Your prospect is your customer. And remember, as we taught in the first course, being customer focused. It's important for you to understand that your customer is the one that's going to tell you what they want, when they want it, who it's for, and it's this information that is so important that whilst you're listening, you should be in the back of your mind, sort of working out your response. The most important thing in delivering a pitch is letting the customer know that you've either researched and understood what they're looking for, or you've listened to what they've had to say before you then open your mouth and start delivering. So listen first, speak second. The second part of delivering the perfect pitch is knowing that your customer has told you, this is what I want, this is why I want it, and it's for this purpose. If you've listened intently, you will now be able to then select, if you have an array of products or services, the right product that's for them. In my time working in Carphone Warehouse, for example, selling mobile phones with different contracts, different data, different free time or text or accessories, I would use the initial part of my sales process in listening to what the customer wanted. That would let me know the type of mobile, the amount of data they needed, whether they needed a Bluetooth headset, needed a case for their phone, maybe they work in construction, they need something to protect it. All these things made my sales process a lot easier. So the second part of delivering the perfect pitch is knowing the who, what, when, and why. Once you have this aspect and you deliver that in your sales pitch, it makes it almost impossible for the customer to turn around and say they don't want your product or service. The third part, which is really important in delivering a perfect pitch, is follow-up calls. You see, not all the time in your initial communication with your prospect, with the customer or whoever you're speaking to sell, are they going to actually take what you're offering? Maybe they need to speak to another decision maker. It could be a managing director saying, let me speak with marketing and find out what the budget is to know if your service is exactly what we need. It could be in a car showroom where the gentleman needs to go home and speak with his wife because really she's the boss. To then come back and then say to you, right, actually we want to go for this product. This is perfect, let's go for it. So your follow-up call is integral to actually closing the deal. Make sure that you have the time, the place, and deliver some urgency. Don't just leave it that, okay, once you've heard from them, give me a call back. No, Mr. Smith, I'll give you a call tomorrow afternoon. By then you would have had the chance to speak with marketing or finance or with the missus or with your husband, where we can then finalize and move on to the paperwork. Make sure that when you're doing your follow-on call, you're actually building or painting a picture of what the next steps are. You're being optimistic and assuming that they're going to come back with a yes because you've done the who, what, when, and why. Why else would they not want the product? This is just a formality for them to get the agreement. And the follow-up call is the part for you to close the deal. The last part of delivering a perfect pitch is be consistent. A pitch is all about breaking down fears, overcoming emotions of your prospect, and promising the world. You're basically doing an exchange of trust for finance, for money. And I can't understand or know of a bigger exchange than giving someone your money. So make sure that you're consistent. If you're promising them a product or service, if you're promising them a follow-up service after they've actually bought your product, then make sure you actually deliver on your promise. Yeah, there's a common term which is under promise and over deliver. And this all ties down to being consistent. The sales world is very ancestral, it's very small. And if you don't deliver on your promise, if you're not consistent, the chances are it will become a lot difficult for you. You don't want to get a brand or a name or gain some sort of notoriety of not actually being able to deliver what you promise. He's a great talker, but the product and service is crap. Make sure that you're consistent. By following these three main steps, identifying the right opportunities, matching them with the right target audience, and delivering the perfect pitch. This, dear listener, is sales excellence. Thanks for listening. Course 3 coming up. Stay tuned. Thank you.